Hello everybody! Welcome to probably the hardest video I'll ever make. Ever. I could be quitting and it would be easier than this. So, I've had it on my mind lately to basically explain to you all why I am the way I am. Why there's some things I don't talk about. Why I seem to be depressed all the time. So, welcome to me being more vulnerable than I've been in a very long time. I don't have a script. I have some bullet points. If you see the rectangle in the reflection of the glasses, that's just the bullet points, so I don't go off rambling on a tangent too much. So I'm going to tell you the story of me. The story of Steven, the guy you've been watching. So, growing up, was born fourth child, name literally picked out of a hat. I have so many middle names, it's not even funny because everybody got to pick a name. 3 siblings, 2 parents, 1 actual parent, 1 parent. You know, It was, I wouldn't say I had a bad childhood. It could have been better. It could have been a lot worse. So that's where I'm kind of at there. In general, the general keynotes to take is we didn't really have much. It was rare we had hot water for any amount of time. Quite often, I distinctly remember everyone would be taking baths instead of showers, because basically what we'd have to do is boil water on the stove to heat it up and then pour it in the bath, and you would get a warm bath by the end of it. That's the level of kind of poverty we were in. It was fine. I still, I mean, it was fine. I still had luxuries. Like, it's not like we were basically on the street starving, though a lot of the time food could be a bit scarce. Heating in the winter was generally not a thing unless my old man, who is the parent, was gonna be off work for a while. Then there'd be heat. Otherwise, he didn't see any point in it because he wasn't home. So, use that to then put yourself in the mindset of, what do you think happened to the generally unwashed kid, because there just isn't hot water, or not enough hot water at least, who at least through elementary school I tried, would try to bathe at least once a week, but there wasn't always the hot water for that, because hot water is used for a lot of things, and well, personal hygiene can sometimes take a back burner to making sure you have clean dishes. Imagine, if you will, the awkward, unwashed kid. They get bullied a lot. It's why I feel I'm probably one of the best people for making content on the internet, because there is nothing anyone can say to me I have not heard before. I had many, many, many years of constant bullying over everything about myself, including some things that you wouldn't think people would bully someone over. Like, the things about your body you have little control over, but other guys would probably be jealous of. I'll leave it at that one. You can all guess what that might be. Which I suppose does explain why I got bullied over it, but beside the point. So, school was never something I was fond of, for, I feel, fairly obvious reasons. I put up with it through elementary school. The moment I reached high school, a few friends and I came to a conclusion of, well, my few friends and I had 2 friends, basically. We basically came to the conclusion of, there's no one keeping track of us. We're allowed to leave the school grounds at recess and lunch to go, buy stuff. What if we just didn't go to the classes we didn't want to go to. And me and one of those friends, we did this a lot. We kept our grades up, but in general, if we didn't want to go to a class, we didn't go to it. This hitting... Geez, how old would I have been? Primary's 5. 7 years of that. That'd be 12, 13-year-old me. That hit me with a rush of dopamine of like, man, I can just go. And here's what little dork me would do. I would leave the school to go to the town library and read encyclopedias. I would go and study on things I was interested in. That's what I would do. I wasn't like skipping school to go do drugs or things. Nah, I was going to the library. Once I got to the age where like I had a reliable internet source at home, I stopped going to the library because I didn't really have a need to anymore. I could look up anything I needed to at home. At that point, I started going to the town cemetery because nobody would bother me there. This also happened to be around the point I was in grade 9. For the first time. This is when I would say my mental health started taking a massive nosedive. And while I'm sure people around me caught it, it's not like there was services in the town I grew up in, the nice pleasant town of Digby. It's not like there was services to help someone struggling with mental health issues. I would have had to have been taken out of the town and taken to another town to get mental health services, and my old man was not going to be doing that. He wouldn't even take me to the dentist in the town. You think he's gonna drive me a couple hours to get mental health help when I can almost guarantee you he doesn't believe in it? So in grade 9, year was going okay. I was skipping school a bit, but I was actually starting to go to school more often. I was basically in the mindset of, right, if I can get through grade 9, grade 10 I could start picking my own classes. I'm gonna actually be able to pick classes I'm gonna enjoy, and I might actually enjoy being here. So I was knuckling down, getting ready to do it. And then a fateful Sunday came along. And I received news. I'd had a friend online for quite a while, and I had known this friend was dealing with health issues. I received a message on a Sunday night. They had just passed away from cancer. I considered this person my best friend. I still don't think I've processed them being gone. I've still fired up Skype, hoping to see a message from them. That it's all just been some elaborate joke and they just wanted to get rid of me or something. But no, I've had it confirmed. They are gone. That Thursday, my grandfather passes away. So here is someone not even 16 years old. Lost their best friend and grandfather 4 days apart. Yeah, I broke. I just shut down for a long time. I shut down, could not do anything for a very long time. Even now, it's not pleasant to think back on. All right. I'm alone in the world now. Because at that point, grade 9, I'd kind of started drifting away from my friends in school. I wasn't really talking with them much. So I'd actually lost one of the 2 friends I had because of me being kind of a dick. I will fully acknowledge that, and if that friend is watching this, and you know who you are, I was a dick to you. I know I was. I was very bad at actually saying what I wanted to say. And I tried to make amends later on. We kind of were friends again for a bit and then just kind of stopped. But yeah, then at that point, basically, my daily routine was get on the bus, go to the school, get off the bus, and just walk straight to the graveyard. And there I would just sit on a tree stump and just think. That's all I'd do. Wouldn't do anything else. Even when I was home, I didn't really do anything. I didn't play games. I just sat around thinking. Often I would just head out into our backyard and sit under a big tree and just think, trying to process everything that had just happened. This obviously led to me failing grade 9, which only grew the gap between the friend I had left and me, because what am I gonna do? You know, he's a grade ahead of me now. Like, the bullying never stopped either. So the whole time, like, anytime I would actually try to go to the school, like, if anything, the fact I was never there made the bullying even worse when I would go back. Come to learn later on, even though my mother swears she told me, I'm positive she never did. Or if she did tell me, it was during a point where I was quite simply just mentally broken and couldn't have comprehended it. If I had been in school more often, they were actually going to push me ahead a grade in my first run of grade 9. And they still wanted to do that the whole time I was there, but no one ever told me. They wanted to push me ahead because I was smart for my age. I loved learning things. I retain niche information really well, information I don't care about not well at all. That's more or less how my brain works. But okay, repeating grade 9. Things start to look up a bit in my repeat of grade 9. Because that is when I met a new group of friends, which I'm still friends with a few of them, and y'all know who you are, and yeah. Thanks for sticking with this weird mess up that is me. I ended up joining an anime club. It was great. I kind of got drug into it, almost literally, but it actually kind of was literally, but, you know. Little tangent I'm going to allow myself here, just as a bit of brightness before everything comes crashing down again. How I got invited into the anime club was I would generally just walk the halls alone because I had basically no friends, and the one I did have, like, I could never coordinate anything with him because we were never in the same class, so, like, we'd never have a moment to speak to each other. I rarely even knew where his locker was, and he rarely ever knew where mine was, you know. But I would just walk around the halls, basically just being a depressed loner loser, and one day, as I'm walking by one of the classrooms, which I was actually trying to walk kind of fast by because I had that class next, and I really didn't want to go to that class, another student basically, like, rock star slides towards me in the hallway from that classroom and is like, just to, like, look up at me, because I'm looking at the floor the whole time. And she goes, "Do you like anime?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Good." Grabs me, pulls me into the classroom. "Welcome to the anime club." Okay, I guess I'm here now. And I was such an awkward person. It's not like I was gonna be like, "Nah, I don't want to be here." I was like, "I'm here now, I guess." So y'all from the anime club have her to thank for me being there, because that gave me something to do on Thursdays. That basically turned into, most Thursdays, I would actually go to classes because I wanted to go to the anime club meeting, and it was on Thursdays. So, like, that was a great thing for me. And grade 10. Grade 10 was mostly uneventful. Was a new girl, kind of, well, new to me, show up at the school. I'd never seen her before. Other people knew her, which, you know, whatever. And grade 11. And the Willow Saga. The reason I dropped out of school. I still don't know if I'm ready to talk about this. Even now. Even after having thought about this in my head for weeks and months, years really. I've wanted to talk about this for a long time. So, start of grade 11. This girl I'd never really seen before comes up to me, starts talking to me. She's not in the anime club, so the thought in my head is, why are you talking to me? She ends up talking to me for a few days, just off and on. And it gets to the point where my antisocial butt is going, okay, I guess I have a new friend now. I didn't think a huge amount of it. By the end of September, our school starts in September. By the end of September, we were talking daily for hours on end. And she'd been isolating me without me even noticing it from everything around me. October comes around. We're in the junior stairwell. No, it wasn't October. It was the end of September. We're in the junior stairwell. And she pushes me against a wall and forcefully kisses me. I do not want this. I didn't want it. I didn't see her that way. I didn't reciprocate the kiss. I was stunned and not okay with what was happening. She then starts to cry. And me being the empathetic idiot that I am, I sit down on the stair next to her and try to make things right. This leads to her pressuring me into being her boyfriend. Now, as you can probably already guess from the start of this, trigger warning for SA. If that bothers you, I will try to put a time code on the screen for when I am done talking about the Willow Saga. Because it only gets worse from here. Because what I'm sure she would consider me being her boyfriend, I was basically her walking, breathing sex toy for near enough 5 months. I did not want any of it. She would make me do a lot of things. And past that, she would also be very physical and very physically abusive when I wouldn't do things that she wanted. It was not a good time. I never wanted any of it. At all. And my dumbass brain was convinced this is just what love is. I'd never been in a relationship before. I had never been with anyone before her. So by the beginning of October, on the daily, she is using me against my will for her pleasure. Every day. Every day. Often multiple times a day. Whenever she wanted it. And if I didn't, I would get hit. And there's so many moments that people could have helped me, and they didn't. And I don't hold this against anyone. I was 6'2", and she was like 5-something. Like, how could something so small hurt so much, you know? Why would, you know, the big weird kid need help? Like, he's not stopping her. I mean, he must want it, right? Right? Let me try to run through a few specifics. I'm sorry, this is not easy to talk about. At all, as you could guess. If it was easy, this wouldn't be a video. Hey, there's one day that still flashes in my mind of just her physical abuse. We were in the lobby of the school. Big open lobby. There was couches. There was people all around. I don't even remember what I did or didn't do, but she just started beating me in the lobby in front of everyone. She only stopped when she kicked me in the stomach so hard I crumpled to the ground. And I just remember people just staring at me. And the looks, they look so disgusted with me. And disappointed. And just their faces are they're just there. A lot of the times when I'll make mention I'm having a rough day, I'm seeing those faces again. The faces of people who didn't know me, but sure didn't like me, that's for sure. I know I'm all over the place with this, but I just want to try to give you some context as to how bad it was. But, like, on the sexual side of things, I stopped sleeping in my own bed because I could not bear to be in it after some of the things that she would do to me. Like, this may get a little graphic. I mean, this already probably is, and I feel like I should apologize, because that's just how I am. We were in my bed, in my own home, somewhere I should feel safe. It's my home, my own bed. And she decides she wants to sit on my face. I don't want this. I just wanted to chill and talk with her because that's what I wanted to do. And because I didn't want it, she literally suffocated me on herself to the point where I was basically blacking out. I might have blacked out. I don't know. That's another thing that relives a lot in my head. And I know there might be some thoughts of, well, why just leave her? She made it very scary to do that. It's another thing that still flashes in my head to this day. Over a decade later, I had tried to leave her. She cut herself. A lot. And I took her back. Because I was afraid she would kill herself if I didn't. To this day, if I hadn't tried to break up with her, she would never have hurt herself. It is my fault. I caused that. And I know some of you are going to be rational and tell me it's not my fault. She was doing it for attention, and it worked. That's not how my brain sees it. That is not how my brain sees it at all. I've had people tell me that. So hard to stay composed through all of this. So I don't want this to be a pity video. I just want to explain why I'm broken. Why I'm a million shattered little pieces trying to just bring some joy to people. Like, that's all I want to do. It was in March that I managed to finally end things with Willow. It took a lot of confidence and a really good friend that I had made playing EVE Online. Basically threatening that if I didn't do something, if I didn't break up with her, he was going to fly from Texas to Nova Scotia and do it for me. Like, he was serious. Like, I have no doubt he would have done it. He was a really good friend, and I wish I still was in contact with him, because he was a real one. But at that point, it was March. I had already failed all of my classes the first semester. This is some grade 11. 1 year from graduating. I should be, If I'd played all my cards right, I could have graduated if I had known, I could have graduated in like grade 10. But if I'd played my cards right, I could have been out in like halfway through grade 12, which is how a lot of people get out, because you only need so many credits. It's great. In late May, the vice principal, nice guy. We all called him Jesus because he had the beard, the long hair. It's just a fun nickname for him. He sat me down and basically said, look, if you finish this year, you're gonna have so many failed credits that even if you do graduate, it's gonna look horrible. You're never gonna be able to get into a university or college because you're gonna have so many failed credits. Your best option is to drop out. If you drop out, the year is erased. None of your failed credits will count. And there's a program coming up at the local community college that you can finish your schooling at. So I did. I dropped out. Never went back. I can't. I've tried going back to school. I was going to talk about this later on, but it's more fitting to talk about it here. After we moved from Digby to where we are now, I tried going back to school. I tried going to one of those programs to finish my schooling. It's at the local community college here. I could not be in that building for more than 30 minutes before I started having panic attacks. I can't even think of going back to school in a serious way without having a panic attack because of what I went through. I can't do it. Anyone seeing my resume will see a GED. I don't have that either. That is honestly some advice from another friend from EVE Online who basically took the role of pseudo-grandfather for me. He's an old retired businessman who apparently owned multiple companies and was the manager at a bunch before that. Basically told me the trick of most employers don't check that stuff. So lie. No one will call you on it. He's been right. So I've lied. That's the one lie I tell consistently, is that I have my GED, and it's only on my resume. So I'll be honest about it and say I don't actually have it, because I don't. I don't think I could do it. It takes going to a school to write it, and I can't do that. But you might think everything ends there. It doesn't. because this has to go back in time a bit. After I've dropped out of school, I take up working nights as a cleaner under the table at local supermarket in Digby. It was great. I kind of like doing it. I mean, I don't like cleaning, but I got to drive, like, it was kind of like a Zamboni, but for cleaning. It was kind of fun. During this time, because I'm such an idiot, still talking with Willow. Still texting with her. She gets kicked out by her mother. Which, fun side tangent here, her mother knew exactly what her daughter had been doing to me. One morning, while I was working, I had got off work. I was at a local gas station just picking up basically my supper. I called it my breakfast because I was eating it at like 7 in the morning. And who walks in but her mother, who immediately starts flirting with me and was not being subtle about it. That's the type of people I was dealing with, I guess. So, her mother kicks her out. She's homeless. She's got a new boyfriend, though. He has a car, but they have nowhere to park it, nowhere to be. They could have stayed at a parking lot somewhere. They could have done that. But she messages me. Hey, can we stay in your driveway? Yeah, no problem. So now I don't feel safe at home. At all. Because now she's living in my driveway. She didn't do anything during that time, but she was there, and that was enough to just... My stress levels were not at my all-time high. That was when I was with her. That's where I learned that my body's stress response is to feel like I've been stabbed in the chest. It's great. So that, I'm still in contact with her. All that's, after a while, they find a place, they leave. Great, I can relax again. I then get fired. Because I've been stressed. I haven't been doing my job well. I've been stressed. And I'm not telling anybody this because, let's be honest, I'm a guy. We don't talk about this stuff. Then, I'm 18, turning 19, and my parents, basically since before Willow moved into our driveway, my parents were going through a messy divorce. They're still technically not divorced. This is over a decade later. So, to have some level of peace, my older sister wants to move. My mother wants to move too. She does not want to live in the house I grew up in, the house I thought I'd own someday. I don't want it anymore. That place is a shithole now. It was a shithole before, it's really a shithole now. There's nothing left there. But I'm in the camp thinking, okay, my sister wants to move, but she's working at a supermarket. She's paying all the bills for the house, which weren't that pricey, to be fair. So it'll be a couple of years. I've got time. I'm trying to find a job, and I've got one lined up. Local Tim Hortons. They need someone for the night shift. Wouldn't you know it, I'm awake all night. I was a full-on night owl back then. I went to that Tim Hortons every night. I knew how all of their stuff worked. I could probably work in a Tim Hortons today. I know that much of how things are done. New menu items would probably mess me up a bit, but I know how a lot of their basic stuff is done and made and prepared. Because I was there so often. I would go nightly walk into that Tim Hortons, buy a medium double-double. That was my nightly order, and I'd be there almost punctually at 2 in the morning. To the point where, after a while, some of the regular workers on nights would just have my coffee ready when I showed up, and we would just shoot the shit for a while. We'd just talk, it was nice. Then suddenly, an uncle, and I don't begrudge this uncle at all, gives my sister a down payment for the house we're in now. Just gifts it to her. So now we're moving. In 3 months. I don't even have time to mentally process that we're moving before we're moving. I wanted to say goodbye to my friends, and I never did. Because I didn't want to believe we were actually gonna move. And then we did. And then we were here, which was not an easy thing for me. Made worse by I was like the only one that packed, and I was the only one that didn't want to be here. And it really just, it felt like some kind of cruel joke. Still kind of does, with just how unprepared everyone was for the move. It's like no one thought we were actually moving, even though the truck was rented, the uncle was coming to pick stuff up. Like, everything was set in stone. We were doing this. Like, it had even been cleared with lawyers because there was a peace bond in place that both my mother and I had against my old man. Because he was, and probably, well, if he wasn't basically dying, he'd probably still be rather dangerous. But yeah, we're here. And now who's ready for the Willow Saga 2 Electric Boogaloo? Because I'm still texting with her this whole time. She knows we've moved. She knows where I live. She could show up at the door right now. She knows where I live. I don't feel safe here. But she shows up one day, the day before her birthday. We'd been texting, and she'd wanted me to go down for her birthday. Because she lives, like, 3 hours south of where I am. And I'm like, yeah, I'll totally make it. But with no intention of actually going. I was trying my absolute hardest to get out of going, because I didn't want to be there. But I was also too much of a coward to just stop talking with her. She shows up the day before, in a car with 3 other people. She's taking me with her. I try to protest. They refuse to leave. I'm too much of a coward to even try telling my mother, hey, could you call the cops? They basically kidnapped me. I was basically forced out of the house against my will and taken 3 hours south with no way home. That night, I had a couple things with me. I had my old work laptop, which I call a work laptop. It was like a business class laptop that's not very good. It was like a Windows XP laptop. There's Windows 7 on it. I got it for like $100. I won't go into excruciating detail, but I'll just say enough. I was given a drink because I was thirsty. And then I don't remember the rest of the night. But I woke up in bed next to her the next morning. You can all probably guess what I'm guessing happened that night. I don't know what happened that night. There's a few times I remember. And I can vividly remember the times, but that's all I can remember. I don't remember anything else. So yeah, that's been my life leading up to when I thought everything was finally starting to get better, which was 2016. I started streaming. Because for those who don't know, I've been doing this YouTube thing for quite a while. Some of my old stream VODs still unlisted. And yeah, my stream's growing. It's going great. I met my ex through my streaming. My recent ex. It was great. This was like, we had started just talking as friends. Then after like we had known each other for like 5-6 months of just talking, she confesses feelings for me. I reciprocate because she's she was cool. I say was because she's shattered that. And, you know, not long after that, we start dating. For 7 years. We never once met. We live an hour away from each other. We never once met. Many times we could have. Mostly her coming to meet me because I can't drive. No one in this family can. And an hour's drive is quite a long distance to walk. And she ends up breaking up with me. And that's what happened during New Leaf. So now where does that leave me? The now of today. Broken mess. But now y'all know why I'm a broken mess. You might be thinking, you know, hey, for, you know, this being a whole thing on why you are the way you are, you sure didn't talk a lot about childhood. That's because I don't remember it. I don't know if this is a normal thing for people who go through what I've gone through. Outside of the really bad things, unless someone reminds me of something from way back then, I don't remember anything. My memories are fairly solid from when I was 17 and the Willow Saga began till now. But even with that, there are some major gaps. There are full-out days I don't remember at all. There's one instance, I don't even remember what I was turning, but one of my birthdays. I don't remember the entire day. And because I didn't remember it, I got upset. Because I had thought everyone around me had just forgotten my birthday. And I stewed on that for a while because I figured, well, maybe one of these days someone's gonna say something. And no one did. And then eventually I blew up on it. And my older sister had pictures from that day. And looking at those pictures, I don't remember anything of that day. I can acknowledge the day happened, but I still don't remember it at all. And that shit's scary. I've had gaps of hours at a time that I don't remember. For a while, I've thought, mostly because I had learned that this is a thing, for a while I thought maybe I suffered transient global amnesia that day. Because that can last a long time. But it's stupidly rare in someone under 50. And past that, it tends to only happen once or twice in someone's life. I have had too many just massive gaps in my memory for it to be TGA. I really wish it was TGA, because I wouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah, now you all know me. Use what you know however you will. I've heard everything. I've had people flatly call me a liar for everything that I've been through. So I've had people tell me men can't go through what I've been through. So nothing anyone says can hurt me over this. Because nothing you could say over it would be worse than what I've already heard about it. So I don't even know how to end this. Like, that's me. Laid bare.